When I started this vlog project, the goal that I set for myself was to just try and showcase the things that I really love about climbing. Today's session is going to get the closest yet.
Here we go again.
A little bit of background about where we are. This area is known as Owl's House, and this is the house that Nick Sagar built.
Hey, my name's Nick Sagar. I'm a former professional rock climber.
What Nick did for us was bring the vision. He showed us the vision of what climbing could look like and would look like 20 years in the future. Nick's notable ascents in the area included Grizzly, this burly compression arête, which for a long time was Nova Scotia's most highly sought after test piece. Right next to it is Papa Bear, which is a face climb that goes straight up the center and then tops out Grizzly at about V9. Back in the gully is a super impressive line, Honey Bear, V11. It follows a series of crimps along the face and then finishes up the arête. And then finally, Last Chance, which is a technical and committing direct start to the arête that is also very endurance orientated. Over the years, other strong climbers have added to the area. Ben has added 2 hard link-ups, one of them being Grizzly into the left arête called The Bridge, as well as Grizzly into Papa Bear, which Ben called Kodiak. Winter of Our Discontent was the last hard line put up at Owl's House by Ben Smith. It was also the line that resisted being repeated for the longest, despite not being the highest grade. And that's what I'm after here today. The climbing is extremely technical, with a crux at the top and a very bad landing. I have a lot of experience with highball climbing. I've repeated every highball in Nova Scotia. Often the approach to sketchy landings or high climbs is rehearse, and then basically risk the biscuit for the send. You know, a no-fall sort of situation. That can't be done on climbs that are right at your limit or that are too sketchy and technical, and this fits into both of those categories. There is a insecure move off a very temperature-dependent, horrible, slippery hold right at the top where the landing is the riskiest. What I am hoping to show is the planning and preparation that goes into one of these high-effort sessions, making these majestic lines with challenging logistics safe and doable. Step number 1 is to prep this difficult landing. So this is the issue that needs dealing with. It climbs up this beautiful geometric feature, but the feet are super slippery and the hands have almost no friction. So you get to this top move here and you grab this horrible friction-free hold and you throw for the top. The move is big, it's overhanging, and the rock that I'm standing on here is essentially the landing zone. That's what I'm going to construct. So the solution I've come up with for the landing is a giant pile of pads that we're going to assemble like a transformer into their ultimate form. These are all homemade climbing pads. I engineered this block-shaped pad specifically to work this climb. It's all open cell foam. Fall off that top crux, you're going to hit that pad there, and then you're going to slide down to the bottom. Last thing I'm going to do now is set up a rope, because the easiest move on this entire climb is sort of the top middle. Once the top feels good, then we'll see if I can send it in halves. That's the goal for today. Conditions are horrible today, so a success would be just doing it in 2 halves. Alrighty, so the rope lets me pull on 2/3 of the way up the climb to warm up on these easier top moves. This will give a good idea of how this landing situation is going to work. If I fall here on this warm up, even though I've got the rope, you'll see that I'm going to hit this backstop, which if the pads weren't all there would be that big boulder that was underneath me. Okay. And this is the big throw to the top, and I am nowhere near warmed up enough. If I fall, that's what happens. Yeah. On ascent go, this is a 15 move V11 or 12. That hold there is ungodly slippery. And the last move is a throw to the top with your weight hanging over this way. So the fall is directly onto this pad setup. So. All right, so that's it. And that is, of course, then the exit is out the gully, which is super scary because you have no pads whatsoever. However, this is an example, like I was saying, of a secure top out. This, you wouldn't actually fall on a Sengo because it's not that difficult. I'm going to finish my warm-up with the opening moves on the stand start. They are all about footwork, so it's a whole series of working my way up the arete here on the world's slipperiest, most frustrating feet you can imagine, with very bad handholds. So it's all in the footwork. If I can do that, then I'll rest up and see if I can put together the top. Okay, well, that's the start. So that's 2 halves now. It doesn't feel terrible. Conditions are horrible. If I can send the stand today, then I'd be pretty psyched. I feel like the full line under ideal conditions and with a bunch more sessions of rehearsal is definitely doable. So yeah, it's encouraging. Go for the top and put this landing into use for real. So I'll make sure that we've got a good angle on that. I'm resting in my little nook. This is a great spot in the wintertime because it's sheltered from all angles, but it's also south facing. Winter of our Discontent, you know, it really makes you think about physical difficulty and climbing difficulty. My first V9 was Kleos in the Land of Confusion, another Nick Sagar line. It's a climb that you can send, you know, desperately. Whereas Winter of our Discontent, it must be climbed with precision, with nuance, and with margin. The physical grade might be the same as Kleos, but the climbing grade, if there was such a thing, I would say it's 3 grades harder in climbing ability. Also, this style of climbing is what climbing's about for me. It's everything that I love. I mean, it's aesthetic. It has that beautiful geometric symmetry to the feature. It's overhanging. It's nuanced. It's technical, and it requires that level of precision that will develop my climbing skills. I'm a better climber for having done this. A decade of hard work from my first V9 to being able to ascend at this level. So, you know, if you think about that and just in the raw grading numbers, you know, you'd be depressed by that fact. You know, it's 10 years of work and you're still struggling on V9. But I don't see it like that at all. super stoked on being able to do the full stand line today. That's technically the third ascent of Winter of Our Discontent. I did the second ascent this winter, I think in February or March. I'm glad I could showcase this line. I feel like if I can get the stand done on my first go without too much fuss in bad temps and only 2 rest days, then I think the full line goes this year for sure. Probably not this spring because the season's ending 2 more weeks and the bugs are here. Super psyched. This line is amazing. This is everything I love in a rock climb. The full line will be an amazing project.